Hey, this is Jeff from Medium Academy, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a bass patch that is useful for resampling while making neuro, glitch hop, dubstep, or whatever other genre you like. This tutorial will only use Native Instruments Massive. And here's an example of how the final product will sound. This sound uses one oscillator and relies on the effects to make the patch sound interesting. Let's get started. Open up a fresh instance of Massive and be sure to select File and New Sound to clear the default preset. The star wavetable of this tutorial is called Vulgar. The wavetable has a really cool granular texture which is perfect for this type of bass. Change Spectrum to Bend Minus and set the pitch to -24 semitones. Leave the rest of the knobs all the way up to their maximum. Make sure the F1/F2 slider on the right side of the first oscillator is turned up to F1. This will route all of the sound coming from oscillator 1 to filter 1. Okay, we're officially done with everything on the left side of Massive. We can skip modulation, oscillation settings, noise, feedback too. Let's jump over to the Voicing tab and change the Unisono setting from 1 to 3. Select Mono Rotate and Legato Triller so that this synth is limited to playing only one note at a time. To get some more stereo width, activate Pan Position and drag the slider all the way to one side. While we are in the area, click on the OSC tab to open up another menu. We may want to do some MIDI pitch bending when using this patch, so change the up and down values in the pitch bend column to 12 and -12 respectively. Now, it's time to add effects, which will be the majority of this sound. For insert effects, let's set insert 1 to frequency shifter and set insert 2 to sine shaper. The sine shaper is the easier of the two to set up, so let's do that first. Just set both knobs to 3 o'clock. The frequency shifter is tricky because this is the only knob that needs to be exactly right in order to make things sound good. Set the dry wet knob to 12 noon and then turn it to the left very slightly, something like 11.5 o'clock. Using your ears, play a note and then line up the pitch knob to adjust slightly to the right of 12 noon. It should sound like there is a pulsating note on top of the original note, but not too fast or slow. This pulsating is due to the two notes being almost the same but not quite, aka dissonance. The pulsating speed will change naturally as you play higher or lower notes. Whew, that was very precise. Not much in sound design needs to be that exact. Let's apply the rest of the effects now. Go to Filter 1 and set it to Low Pass 4. Set Filter 2 to Band Reject. Make sure both filters are turned on and the volume slider to the right of both filters are at maximum. Set the low pass cutoff knob to the far left and the low pass resonance knob to 10 o'clock. Set the band reject cutoff knob to the far right and its bandwidth knob to 1 o'clock. Set its resonance to 11 o'clock. To the immediate left of both filters is a tall slider labeled Arrow F2. Make sure this is set to the topmost position, which is the series setting. This means that sound will travel to filter 1 and then go from filter 1 immediately into filter 2. The opposite setting is parallel mode, which will put sound through both filters at the exact same time. The slider on the immediate right of the filters determines which filter is allowed to send the sound to output, aka to your speakers. We'll be automating this with a macro knob, so let's set it also to the topmost position. For Effects 1, select Classic Tube and set both knobs to 11 o'clock. For Effects 2, select Flanger Positive and set the dry wet knob to 11 o'clock. The rate and feedback should be just slightly above the minimum setting, and the depth can stay at 12 noon. Turn on the EQ and boost the high to about 2 o'clock. Now it's time to add automation to get a filtery effect. Label macro 1 low pass. Drag your mouse from the knob to the first black box below the filter 1 cutoff knob. Click and drag upwards all the way to allow that macro knob to change the amount of low pass filter cutoff. For macro 2, do the same thing, but name the knob filter and drag to filter 2's cutoff. For macro 3, we'll control how much of the band reject filter is affecting the overall sound. Name this macro filter amount and drag it to the first black box under the mix slider. Now, if we want to turn the band reject filter off, we can turn our macro 3 knob to its minimum setting. And really, that should do it. Grab the preset for this sound and many others inside our free sample pack, which you can download on edmacademy.net. Thanks for checking out this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.